A quick note before we get into this week's edition of Gracefully and Frankly. Episode 164 was recorded on Tuesday, February 10th of this week, before we were made aware of the terrible events unfolding in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia. Our hearts go out to all who loved and mourn the victims of this horrific tragedy. Episode 164, gracefully and frankly, romantically, well, maybe not so much. I'm Erin Davis.
I'm Lisa Brandt. I'll be my Valentine. Oh, we've both got one.
Yeah, we sure do, and furry ones too. But this Saturday, oh my God, it'll be impossible to get a reservation in a restaurant. So if your sweetie is a procrastinator, you're having Subway.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You can cut the bun into a heart shape or whatever, and yeah.
Sure. Today's show is not going to be all about romance and love because blah, 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 but it's about Valentine's and self-love and forgiving yourself and all of those important things that we learn as we grow older. It's so much more important than, all the hearts and flowers, although flowers are nice. In February, flowers are nice.
Yeah, it is nice to get something that shows some appreciation, and I agree with you. I have some younger friends, and I see them beating themselves up. It's just a waste of time. All those things, not forgiving themselves for little mistakes and being so hard on themselves. And I think I can't judge them for it because I was there too, but I also can't heal it for them, right?
Absolutely. That takes time, and it takes a lot of experience too. Like, I was talking with my shrink about the things that keep me awake at night. And Lisa, I don't know if you're like this, but there are people like me who are chronic overthinkers. And especially at night, when you've turned off the lights, you've got your sound machine on, and all of a sudden you start remembering something really stupid or wrong that you did 30 years ago. And I do that. Do you, or has your stoicism kicked in enough that you're over that stuff?
I don't want to sound like I've got it licked because it's an ebb and flow thing, but I don't lie awake generally and worry about things. And I don't have those things come back to me because I have forgiven my younger self. I'm trying to be a friend to my younger self. It's almost like I look at her and me as two different people, and I'm telling her, it's okay. It's all right.
That is a good thing. And healing our inner child is a really big part of that too. And I know to some people that sounds like woo-woo or whatever, but just taking time, meditating or thinking about that child who didn't hear enough that she was special or that she was okay, or all of those messages we never got from our parents because they didn't know that that's what we needed to be parented like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, and I mean, in their day, that was just not even thought of. It's like, what do you mean? Be concerned about the kids' emotions and those kinds of things. It's like, get out there and husk the corn or whatever it is that you need to do, right?
You're meant to be seen and not heard. I'll give you something to cry about was kind of the mantra too.
Yeah.
You didn't. But what I've started to learn is that there was this wonderful analogy that they made about you are still answering calls at the call center for complaints on a factory that closed 30 years ago. The lights are off and you're still sitting at that desk answering the complaints and the calls that came in.
Wow, that's powerful. Holy smokes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah, it is. I remember an MC job where I was very pregnant, and I made a lot of jokes about myself being pregnant, and it was to a group of women, and some weren't listening, some weren't paying attention, some were thinking I was making fun of them or hormones or something, and it was just, I got this stream of faxes. This is how long ago it was. If your complaints were in faxes, let them go. That should be the mantra. There's my book. Okay. And I keep thinking about what I could have done differently, how I went wrong, how I let down the sisterhood. And it's just, it's so useless, but it just beats at me. And letting that go is the biggest act of self-love that a person can possibly do because you can't go back. I think everyone wants to go back and fix something, whether it was a moment at a party where you said the wrong thing or you put the wrong ingredient in the turkey that year or, you messed up a relationship on a much bigger score. But we can't, right? So
Right.
this is where your stoicism kicks in. Bless us with something profound.
Oh, geez, I wish it was my stoicism, but it goes back thousands of years. But those people aren't thinking about it. It was a moment and it was gone for them, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing about being stoic for me is living in the moment, knowing I did the best I could with the information I had at the moment, and then living in the moment now so I don't miss it. Planning for the future, but not having expectations for it at the same time. So it kind of calms your mind, and you have to keep bringing your mind back to the moment. Like, that's my biggest struggle, and I think it's a struggle for a lot of people, to not live in the past or get so far into the future where you're predicting things that may never happen or worrying about stuff that might not come to pass. You just have to stick in this moment. So when your mind goes back and says, oh, I can't believe I said that, it's like, well, you did, honey. And it's not that big a deal. No loss of life. No wars were started. Let's make this moment better. I assure you, anyone who is there has forgiven you long ago.
I hope so.
Oh,
I always wanted a chance to win them back over. You know, like if somebody called with a complaint or emailed, I would phone them personally and said, here's what I said and here's what you heard. But, you know, you can't fix everything, right? You just can't. And you can't please everybody. I mean, Bad Bunny is a great example of that. Most watched Super Bowl halftime show ever. And there are people who are parsing the lyrics to his songs on my Facebook page. I just delete them. I don't understand the lyrics to most of the songs, but I can still enjoy songs.
some of the lyrics were also about believing in yourself. And he had a Mr. Rogers moment where he looked into the camera and said, I'm here because I believed in myself. I'm paraphrasing. And you should believe in yourself as well. And what better message is that for kids? There was nothing about that show that was hard to understand. I didn't know the language either, but it was just so happy. And Derek, for example, big football fan, wants to see classic rock or whatever else. But he turned to me and he said, you know what? I will take this any day over some angry rapper. There's so many other ways it could have gone, and it was just a happy time.
It was, and there was no flag burning. There was no political stuff. I've had a couple of people on my Facebook page say, keep politics out of music. Well, first of all, you have to go back about 100 years. You know, politics has been in music forever, and I said, telling an artist how to use their talent, that doesn't fly here.
No, I mean, I can't imagine how it felt for him, although he's able to brush it off. Talk about criticism. The President of the United States is telling you you suck. And let's face it, all of the criticism is just about racism. The Latino and Latina population of the United States is massive.
Yep.
This was theirs. They deserve it.
Absolutely.
He's the biggest artist in the world right now. Not everything is about me.
Yeah.
I recognize that. Yeah.
Exactly. And the NFL chose him for a reason, so great. Let them. And of course, there was that alternate halftime show.
Oh, like,
oh my God.
are they trying to say the best they could get to equal Bad Bunny was Kid Rock? This is so incredibly sad. But again, it's just the intolerance showing and calling him not an American citizen. Oh, hello, look at a map. Anyway.
Well, exactly. My favorite part was the Kid Rock lip synced badly, and they're calling him Hillbilly Vanilli. While we're talking about self-love, we of a certain age, we queenagers, well, I guess we're getting comfortable in our skin because our skin is getting so comfortable on us. It's just kind of there. And no amount of crunches or lunges or lunches and crunches, I don't know, it's going to change that at this point. And you've heard this wisdom before that, love your knees now because you're going to miss them when you're older, and all of that advice given to graduates way back when. But there was a clip, Lisa, from Schitt's Creek of Moira giving advice to Stevie, who runs the motel. She's also David's friend and ex. But this is the advice that Moira, played beautifully by Catherine O'Hara, has for Stevie.
Take 1,000 naked pictures of yourself now. You may currently think, oh, I'm too spooky. Or nobody wants to see these tiny boobies. But believe me, one day you will look at those photos with much kinder eyes and say, dear God, I was a beautiful thing.
Oh, I just love that show so much. I may have to watch it for a third time.
Isn't that so true?
It is absolutely true. And I tell that when my younger friends say to me, oh, I don't know if I should wear this dress. It's kind of short. It's like, wear it now because you won't have a choice down the road if your knees end up around your ankles or your breasts end up around your knees. You're going to wish you had worn it.
Exactly. If only we could go back and give ourselves the freedom to not hear the voices and have the judgment. So that would be my advice as a grandmother or as a parent would be wear it anyway. I was way too hung up on what to wear. I was grateful for a high school uniform when I was moved to a Catholic high school in grade 10 because then I didn't have to lay out 5 outfits every morning and struggle to decide what I was going to wear. But go ahead and wear it. You know, you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s. Live the dream. Do what you want.
I've often thought that Steve Jobs had it right, whatever you think about the late man, just wearing the same turtleneck and jeans every day. And some of these tech guys do that so they don't have to think about clothing. But I don't know that I could narrow it down to just one thing. It would be cool, though, to have a whole rack of the same jeans and the same shirt.
Caftans.
Yeah, maybe. But I'd want the same one every day, though, so I'd have to get the exact same every day. It's got to be something that looks smashing on camera if somebody wants to take a picture or whatever. You know, it's got to check all the boxes.
Oh, okay. Well, my sister Cindy, who's been visiting, she brings dresses. She buys these little shifts online, and they're cheap, they're cheerful, and she wears all the makeup, and she looks beautiful every time we go out. And I'm wearing a T-shirt and shorts. And I'm just down to lip color now. And I said to Cindy, nobody's looking at me. I'm over 60. And she said, not down here. The men are looking. And I said, I don't care if they look. You know, Cindy's single, so it makes a difference to her. But again, even at this age, you know, that old adage about when I am old, I'll wear the red hat and all that kind of thing. Just wear what makes you feel happy and comfortable and your skin. Do the best you can with it. Stop buying all these products that are just about, oh, this will make you look 20 years younger or this will do this will do that. Well, how much of it actually works besides moisturizer and sunscreen, right?
Oh, and don't we all have a drawer full of partially used little jars and bottles of all that stuff that has not worked?
Yeah.
And whatever happened to truth in advertising? Why can't we go back to insert cosmetics company here and say, you told me this would get rid of my wrinkles under my eyes, and they're still there. I want my money back.
Well, Moira also had a little bit of advice to Stevie at the end of that last bit. I thought I'd play it for you and see what you think.
Oh, and make sure you submit those photos to the internet. Otherwise, your own children will go looking for them one day and tragically, they won't be there.
Yeah, no, don't put any of those photos on the internet.
No, unless you belong to a special site where people pay to see them and that's your jam. Otherwise, no.
Yeah, no thanks.
It actually got mild enough for us to be able to open a couple of windows, not for very long, but just for a little while because it's felt like a tomb in here. Well, Ontario's been in the deep freeze. It's either been super, super cold or it's been super, super cold and snowing or it's just been a punishing winter. But I can't wait for the actual spring when we can open all the windows up and let breezes go through. And apparently this is all over social media right now. And it's called house burping.
House burping, as in Tupperware style. Okay, I'm listening.
Kind of. Or I guess you put a receiving blanket over your shoulder and hold your house. No, that doesn't work. That does not work at all. So apparently this is big in Germany, where even if you sign a lease to an apartment, you have to agree, it will be in the lease, that once a day, or sometimes twice a day, you have to open all the windows and let air flow through. it's thought of as healthier. Of course, it must be without, I don't know, everything from radon and dust and pet dander
Yep.
all getting into your house. Are you a window opener? A lot of people like to sleep with the window open.
Oh, I love to sleep with the windows open. Not down here because it's too hot. It's very dusty and there's a lot of construction noise around. It doesn't interfere with my enjoyment of the place, but there are workers. And so they would have me up earlier than I want. But yeah, I'm a big fan of open windows. And back at home on our new little cabin on Pender Island, none of the windows have screens. So we're going to have to figure that out and see how buggy the area is. Hopefully not the hard way.
Yeah. Well, it's apparently a very healthy thing to do, and you know just when you breathe in fresh air that it's so much better. The idea got a little bit of promotion, too, during the pandemic when German Chancellor Angela Merkel said it was a cheap and effective way to contain the COVID virus in her country, to open up the windows and virus be gone. I don't know if it's true.
I don't know either, but gee, I look forward on your behalf to the days when everybody can open their windows and let the house breathe. It sounds good.
goodness.
It sounds good for your chi, for your energy, for everything, not to mention your spirits. Oh, Lisa, I'm sorry for you.
Well, right now, my chi would freeze right off if I open the window, so that's not going to happen.
There's also something that's going on a little closer to home. There was a story in the Toronto Star about, and this ties in with Valentine's Day, people who are dating just to find a place to live.
Yeah. Oh, the rent is just too high.
Yeah, the headline was Toronto daters are moving in together quickly to save on rent. And it's a risky move. And they cite one couple who 3 months after they met, they moved in together. And Rob and I were much faster than that because we knew that we were going to be inseparable. But a lot of people are doing this because they just want to find somebody to share the rent with. So it's almost like an arranged marriage. You meet up with someone, you think, okay, maybe I'm compatible with him or her. And then you move in together and maybe romance develops. Maybe you decide you can't stand each other, but you save a whole bunch on rent. They're calling themselves hobo, as in homeless, what we used to call people who rode the rails with a little sack on their shoulder, hobosexuals. Yeah, dating to afford a better quality of life and split rent on a semi-decent one-bedroom. Falling in love would be a nice afterthought.
Wow.
I guess that's not unusual. It's kind of like roommates with benefits.
Sounds like it, but what happens when one of you doesn't want the benefits anymore and you've got a lease, and do you end up couch surfing? Or that sounds awfully risky to me. I just saw a story this week that rents are actually coming down because there's just so much available, but they never come down in a significant way. It's like 0.25% or something like that.
Yeah.
I think back to when I had 2 male roommates in Prince George, BC, and no, there was no funny business going on there. They both had girlfriends. It was just purely to save money. But if it had been another kind of arrangement, I mean, my grandparents could barely handle that it was platonic.
Right, yeah.
I suppose you have to do what you have to do to survive, but I would be moving out of Toronto so quickly and finding someplace more reasonable to live, I think.
You know, you see a lot of self-love at the Olympics, and it must be so hard. I talk about staying awake at night and thinking about what I should have said on stage. How many of the athletes do you think who either don't medal or get a bronze or a silver, and they were this far from the gold? How many of those final moments of the finish line or the last moments of the hockey game when you let that puck in, how many of those replay through your head for the rest of your life? And I guess a real champion knows how to let it go and get ready to face the next challenge, right?
Yeah, I think so, but it's still got a sting.
I know you're thinking about the Jerry Seinfeld bit where
Yes.
he's showing his nose and the difference between gold and silver is this, and he puts his head out, and this, and pulls his head back.
Yeah, you're a winner. You didn't make it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the speed skating, and gosh, our skaters are so great. And of course, I love watching the skiing. And yeah, I can't help but look at the knees and the way that especially slaloms and those bumps and stuff. And you just wonder, like the punishment, Lindsey Vonn being a perfect example of somebody who went in injured and then now she's really injured.
Yeah.
Multiple fractures and oh my God.
Yeah, you could stop and say, maybe at 41, but hey, who am I to judge? She was one of the best.
Oh, when it comes to your knees, you don't have to be an Olympian to have pain in your knees. I mean, even just from bending or getting out of a chair or doing the things that you want to do when spring finally does come and you burp your house and you want to get out and just walk more and enjoy the fresh air. This is the time to start taking Sierra Sil Joint Formula 14 because they have a patented recipe that actually builds cartilage in your knees. It's true. And it's unusual, but if it doesn't work for you within 14 days, you get your money back. It's a Canadian company. They have supported more athletes than you can even imagine, including hockey players. And you can find out more at their website.
SierraSil.com. Sierra like the mountains, SIL.com. And use the code GF for 14% off.
Oh, I was so excited. I can't believe I didn't lead with this week, but we're talking about self-love and things you love. We love our coffee, right? Yeah. Coffee is not just a necessity. It's a love. It's a passion.
Yeah.
It is an addiction and a socially accepted one. But I came across a story, Lisa, for everyone who drinks coffee or tea in none other than the New York Times. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the headline. 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day may reduce dementia risk, but not if it's decaf.
Yay for calf.
Yes, it could reduce dementia risk. And this is not a small study of 9 people that was put on by Folgers or something.
Right.
It's a study of 132,000 people. They watched them for 40 years.
Wow.
And it also applies to tea. If you think your daily doses of espresso or Earl Grey are sharpening your mind, you might just be right because there's this new study and it's providing evidence of cognitive benefits from coffee and tea if it's caffeinated and consumed in moderation. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Moderation. There's that word again. Why, Lisa? Why? Okay. 2 or 3 cups of coffee or 1 or 2 cups of tea a day. And people who drank that for decades had lower chances of developing dementia than people who drank little or no caffeine. It's incredibly good news. The caffeine correlation held regardless of whether people had genetic risk factors for Alzheimer's or other dementias.
Gotta hand it to coffee. Would you hand me a coffee, please? Yes.
Yeah, no kidding. And when we talk about moderation, Lisa, in a study last year linking caffeine consumption to lower mortality, you don't get additional benefits when you go beyond 3 cups. If you add more than a little milk or sugar, you're erasing caffeine's mortality benefits.
Oh, so you say like a triple or something doesn't quite?
No, that's not helping your health, but the dementia study didn't track milk or sugar. So if you have to have your little bit of half and half or whatever, you can be sure that, it's helping fight off dementia. I think that's really incredible news.
Even if it hadn't come out, I wasn't going to quit my coffee, but it's even better.
Now, they also couldn't say which would be better brain-wise, whether a Darjeeling or a matcha, a Sumatra or Colombian, a $6 Canadiana or that cardboard-tasting free coffee from the office machine. But you know what? We'll take good news where we get it, especially if it's something that we love. That's something for a Valentine's gift. Get the person you love like a pound bag of really good coffee beans and say, this is for your brain and your heart.
Right.
While we're talking coffee, do you hear that?
I do. Yay!
It is. It's the percolator. Yay. Oh my gosh, Lisa. An embarrassment of riches from the percolator today.
Rita D bought us 15 coffees.
What?
She says, what kind of flower should you never give on Valentine's Day? Cauliflower, except to Lisa. Yes. Happy Galentine's Day, she says. Enjoy. Thank you so much, Rita.
Oh, my goodness. And we will be drinking a gallon of coffee. Thanks so much to Elaine, who bought us 10 coffees for best wishes for this month. Thank you, Elaine. And if you would like to buy us a coffee, please do go to gracefullyandfrankly.com and you'll find the buy us a coffee cup on the bottom left. Oh, and she also left us a voicemail. Bonus. This is the biscotti on the side. Here we go.
Hi, Erin and Lisa. It's Elaine from Ottawa. I just wanted to thank you both for your podcasts and introducing me to Envy Pillow. So for Christmas, I asked my husband to buy me the travel version. I just got back from an amazing 2-week vacation in St. Lucia, and I just felt like I was sleeping in my own bed just because the pillow was so familiar. So it made a big difference. Thanks again. Have a great day and enjoy the coffees.
Whoa. Thank you for the call, Elaine, and thank you for listening and trying the Envy pillow because we absolutely love ours too. And envy really is self-love.
Love for your spine, for your neck, and for your sleep, most of all. Not to mention as well for your skin.
Yep.
And we talk about the properties of it, but there's just so much to it. It's not your grandmother's pillow, let's put it that way. I don't go anywhere without mine. You don't go anywhere without yours. And not just the travel version either. If I didn't have the travel one, I'd take the full size with me too. Never had a problem on an airplane with it either. You know, they say you can take your carry-on and your one personal item, and I sling my Envy pillow over in the carrying bag and sit on it. It's never been an issue. It goes with you and changes your life. I know, we're talking about a pillow. You can't believe it, but it is true. It worked for us.
And it doesn't last for just 2 years or whatever. I have had mine so long, I'm sure Kathy and Kim are getting mad at me for not replacing them. Those are the co-creators, the RNs, and you can read all about them, see about their promise to you about the Envy pillow at Envy, ENVY, pillow.com, and just use the code GF for 10% off. Show yourself some love with your pillow.
All right, so I'm going to guess that as we move in to the final section of the episode,
Yes.
it'll have something to do with, I don't know, self-love?
Maybe it's time for this week in Totally Stupid or
Twits! All right, twit it up.
Okay, we have for you how not to be a twit on Valentine's Day because you just know somebody has been a twit and bought their loved one these things. You're going to get a laugh out of some of these things. Okay, the most hated Valentine's Day gift according to recent surveys. Go.
Oh, household appliances, cleaning supplies,
Oh,
and anything that implies your partner needs to change themselves. Like, do not give, I don't know, Slim Fast, something like that.
gym membership, diet books, personal hygiene products. Can you even imagine?
No.
Oh, even giving a guy or girl something from a clearance bin counts as a worst gift situation. Now, you may be surprised to learn that North Americans spend an average of $188 per person on Valentine's Day. Ooh, I'm not. Are you?
No, I'm baking a pie.
Oh, that is so much love, Lisa. It's probably raisin pie, right?
It is raisin pie. Yep.
Yep, because that's Derek's favorite. He can't get it everywhere, and you make it with your own hands. It's made with love. So you know you've got this covered. Rob and I don't do it because our anniversary is 6 days later, and we're not together this year for Valentine's or our anniversary. He's going to be at home watching hockey with our friend Chris, who is a male, and I don't care. Okay. Things you do not buy. Listen up. Generic gift cards, gas station flowers. Oh, last minute drugstore chocolates. They all just scream, I didn't give this any thought at all. And then you mentioned the personal hygiene. If you give somebody a gift that is actually criticism disguised as a gift, that's just wrong. And I need to say, you said appliances. Now, I would never, ever complain about the perfect coffee machine or a top-of-the-line vacuum.
That's what I was going to say. If you've asked for it or you said you wanted it or something like that, that's different. That makes it okay, yeah.
One year, I got a beautiful leather jewelry roll-up as a gift from Rob, but there was nothing inside it. I knew to be grateful for the roll-up. I thought it was gorgeous, but he kind of saw my face when I opened it, and there was nothing in it. I mean, for God's sakes, put a candy bracelet in there or something. Never give an empty jewelry box or something re-gifted. It just shows you didn't put in the time or effort. I did love the roll-up, but I was a little disappointed.
It was missing a bit of bling. It needed some bling.
Exactly.
Derek tells the story about a girlfriend he had that he gave one of those tall standing air purifiers to for Valentine's Day. And she was furious, absolutely furious. I said, she didn't ask for it. And he's like, no.
Oh.
So he's gotten a lot better at gift giving.
Yeah, well, if you're doing your Valentine's Day shopping in the hardware store, take care. And a lot of hardware stores, like our Home Hardwares, have great gift ideas. They have really neat stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe stay away from the tools. Or if your wife loves gardening, okay. Or your spouse or your partner loves gardening, great. Get them gloves, but also get them some nice hand cream or something that's going to save their knees, Sierra Sil, or an envy pillow to end the day on after they've done all that. That's just some of our hints.
If you're hell-bent on using your points, well, you're going to have to be a little creative.
Exactly. And I know how Derek loves to save his points. So, Derek, buy the good creams at Shoppers Drug Mart, okay?
He's pretty good.
He is. Our guys are the best, and we are lucky. We make a lot of fun of them on the show here, and they're up for it. As Rob says, well, as long as I make for a good laugh. But they really are. And we love them, and we love you. Thank you for getting us to 164 episodes, for your voicemails, which you leave at gracefullyandfrankly.com on that little microphone icon, or for the coffees that you buy us. We appreciate every little bit of support, and we appreciate you. And I love doing this show every week with my bestie, Lisa Brandt.
I love it too, Erin Davis.
Have a great weekend. Bye for now.
Bye.